Girl, I know it's our anniversary. Can I have y'all clap with me? Come on, snap with me. And the first thing I'll do is run straight to you. It's our anniversary. Yeah. Do you know what today is? It's our anniversary, baby. How do you know what today is? It's our anniversary. Yeah. And I've only made plans to hold your little hand. It's our anniversary.
Yes,
And the pleasures are mine, 'cause we seem to have a good time. It's our anniversary. Oh, Victoria will be no secret at the end of the day, 'cause it's our anniversary, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what today is? It's our anniversary. Hold on. Everybody say, do you know what today is? It's our anniversary.
That's the question.
Do you know what today is? Oh, it's our anniversary. Oh, see, I love you in the morning, baby.
Yes, sir.
Love you in the evening time. Yes, I do, baby. Oh, we got years in this, time in this, blood, sweat, and tears in this, baby. You and me and you. Oh, it's time for us to celebrate. It's our anniversary, baby. You and me, we got 2 plus 0, that's 20, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, it's our anniversary. Last time everybody sang, do you know what today is? It's our anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what today is? It's our anniversary.
Yes, sir.
Just want to welcome everybody.
That's so good right there. What up, y'all?
Welcome everybody to 20 years, y'all.
Yes.
Welcome everybody to the room. Anniversary.
First, I want to shout out Denzel Lavelle, y'all. Can y'all give it up for him? What an amazing talent and gift. He is incredible. We love Denzel.
I love him so much.
So good. Happy anniversary, babe, to you.
Happy
It's
anniversary to you, too.
20th anniversary. Welcome to Marriage Monday. You know, everybody been asking for a live audience. So tonight we did a very special intimate setting while we're streaming to the whole world. Did an intimate setting with a few close people that, you know, been rocking with us.
Yeah.
And we just want to say that it's our anniversary. Tonight, Danny is going to, you know, interview us, have a little conversation tonight just about the 20 years. Danny, thank you so much for being the one to sit with us and have this conversation. I mean, long years of relationship. So glad that you're here today.
Man, I'm so excited, and thank you guys for allowing me to interview both of you guys. I've been watching you guys for a number of years. And also my wife, sometimes we sit back and, you know, how we actually got started watching you guys was, you know, I'm newly married, and I was like, man, you know what? I needed some tips on how to, you know, keep my marriage popping. You know what I mean? So I would sit back, and at first my wife would be like, why is this guy up over here just taking notes and everything like that? But I'm trying to get to 20 years like, you know what I mean? So I'll be 4 years in.
Yeah, congratulations.
Man,
That's good.
I'm a baby married. Baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 20 years. I'm so excited, man, you know, for you, both of you guys. You know, what was that like? How is that? 20 years?
we were just talking about this the other day, like what the heck? That's all I can say. At 20 years, you look up and it's 20 years, and really at year one, we felt like we had been married for like 10 years. So it was, I think we finally have caught up to what it felt like the very first year to actually be in that. But 20 years is a grown person, you know, a legal person. That's how when we meet different couples and they tell us how long they've been married, they're like, oh, 30 years. It's like, oh, you real grown. Y'all real grown in this, you know, but not to negate a small number of years. But I think when you hear the longevity of people, it makes you hopeful. Yeah. It makes you realize that this doesn't happen overnight. That it is the consistency of waking up every single morning committed to the institution of marriage and not based upon how you feel.
Yeah.
I love it. So,
when we think about that, like we do talk about how it felt old from the beginning, because this morning we were discussing how our lives were so interwoven and we didn't even know. Like we knew people that knew each other. We knew our family. I knew people in her family, but I didn't know her, you know? So it was like the whole time God was crafting this path for us to have this introduction to each other. And I don't think we could have met a year or 2 years sooner. We would have liked to, but we couldn't have.
But that actually goes into my first question. It's like, how did you guys actually meet? And I just want to tell the audience right now, you know, let's lean in, let's learn. Let's laugh tonight, y'all. I think it's going to be some fun points in this tonight. And I think it's going to be some stuff that we can actually take back to our homes, to our marriages, to help increase and enhance what we got. I heard, you know, just before we go deeper into it, here, some people in here have been married for 30 years.
Right.
You know, some people in here 15, 10 years. You know, some people probably longer than that. So we can always take something from this. So how did you guys actually meet?
You want me to start? Well, I didn't meet him, but I knew of him, and he because
my reputation preceded me.
Whatever.
Come on here.
He
She
is
was stalking me
oh
from
my
a
God,
distance.
that is not true.
I'm sorry.
Like a heat-seeking missile.
Okay. He's 2 years younger than me, and so
She
like
a cougar.
he's
I got one at home too.
he is one of them. I said I would never date anybody younger than me or the same age as me, and none of it worked. So I was like, I might as well try the young guy, right? But I knew of him because he was a youth pastor, and he was just like, I just admired him as a youth pastor because he was like amazing. He had one of the strongest youth ministries I have ever seen. Wow. And, you know, was true to what he was, you know, to what he was doing. But we kind of came in contact again because he was coming to my church, my home church. My grandfather was bringing him in to preach, and so my choir, my grandfather's bishop was Bishop William C. Abney, Bethel Pentecostal Church. But the choir was having our anniversary or something. Don't do that. They was having an anniversary, and so I was a part of the anniversary team, and so they were like trying to find an MC. So they was like, who could we get an MC? And I was like, oh, Jermone Glenn. I think he would be good. They was like, yeah, all right, cool. And I was like, yeah, I'll call him. Not a problem. I'll call him. So I remember it so vividly. I was in my classroom. My kids was outside at recess, and I was sitting at the desk where there were computers. And I was like, I don't want him to think I'm trying to come on to him or whatever. And so I called him, and he answered, and he was like, you know, trying to act like he didn't know who I was at first. And then he agreed to come to to be our master of ceremony. And then I think after that, then my grandfather invited him to come and preach.
The rest was organic.
And all of that was organic. And then this was the one thing, this was the kicker. So, we had fax machines, right? So my room housed the fax machine for the house. And so my grandfather's like,
he was interviewing me.
He was interviewing him. I didn't know what was going on. He's like, I'm about to get a fax, and I need you to bring it to me, and don't say nothing. And I was like, fine. So the fax started coming through all of these pages, right? This was his resume, right? So I'm looking at this, I'm like, he is lying. He ain't do none of this stuff. I'm so sick of this boy talking about my name is Jermone. He know his name is Jerome, and he just trying to be all extra. And then when I got to know him, I was so shit.
Facts.
But you could go on after that, because that was my
All
little...
my paperwork was legit.
It was legit.
Everything that came
He
through
said
on the
everything
fax
he
was
said he
100.
did, he did.
She checked me out before she checked me out. No, know her not like I know her now. She was very kind on the phone, but I told her I felt like she was flirting with me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. She was being extra nice.
'Cause you wasn't gonna know.
Her tone, but now that I know when she really flirting, I was like, you was flirting with me from day one.
Let me tell you.
You was shooting your shot from
what that
day
is?
one.
What that is that that's the real side of the story.
Exactly,
You know,
right? So
it's her side,
and
your
then
side,
it's
your
the
side.
real side.
You're the
right.
real side.
When we got into it, so when I got there though, it was quick. I mean, like I was coming. It's no secret. I was coming out of a divorce and just kind of wrapped up the fact that I'd ever get married. Wow. I just was like, it was just a chapter in my life. It may never happen and never exist for me. The friendship developed fast, and that's what kind of unarmed me, because she actually had a boo at the time, and so she had a boyfriend, and so I didn't really start talking to her, trying to be with her. I just was befriending her. We was in the same space. We was doing ministry together, and we started talking, and before we knew it, it just was long conversations, long days, long phone calls, and before I knew it, I just kind of was like, man, there's something special about her. I thought I never saw myself being here this fast, and I didn't think it could happen, and but my heart really was turned towards her. Not just that I didn't want to be with her, but I didn't want to be with her, but I didn't really want to be without her. And as we start to lean into the conversation, I don't know, before I knew it, I had invited me to cook her dinner.
He tried to make me spaghetti.
Oh my God.
And I was trying to figure out what the heck was happening.
But was it good though?
It was good.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You trying to put me out here like I can't cook. My resume was good, all right?
Was that on the resume that he could cook?
No.
But before I knew it, we was building a solid friendship, seeing each other every day, spending time together every day, and the more we got to know each other, the more we saw how our lives intersected, not just for who we were and how we got there, but also where we were going. Yeah.
Awesome. So, I heard you mention that, that you were coming, that you just got out of a divorce, and that you were saying how you were like, I wasn't even looking into that space like that, but, it just seemed like y'all just started becoming knitted together.
Yeah.
How did you guys know that, both of you all, like, you were ready to get married? Like, I mean, especially after, and I don't know if I should, twofold questions, right? Like, how did you know that you were ready to get married, and how did you know that he was actually ready to marry you after you understanding that, he just got out of this divorce and everything?
Well, for me, I always knew I was ready to get married, okay?
Come on here.
Just because I wasn't married, many was called, but few was chosen. It wasn't like nobody was coming. So I was already in that mindset, excuse me, and I remember being at his house, and I asked him, I was like, so will you ever get remarried? And he was like, no, I won't. And I was like, Lord, what the heck am I doing here? Like, what is going, you know what I'm saying? But the friendship was so good. It was like, you know what? If this doesn't go anywhere, this was a good friendship. Like, he has helped me in some spaces and places that I needed, because he's pastoral, so of course, right? But how did I know?
At one point, before you go into that, when you tried to get me to define a relationship, she asked me, well, what is this and what are we doing? And I was like, I promise you I'm not playing no games. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Kind of caught me off guard, but I can say that I won't take anything from you. Like, I'll make sure that this relationship adds value to you, and even if it becomes nothing, I promise to leave you better than I found you. I promise that I won't take anything from you, and I'm not running game. That's sincere, because my name is on the line, the reputation is on. My job was on the line.
Pastor's heart. He was shepherding.
I was working for her grandfather,
Right.
so I wasn't trying to play no games.
You were shepherding her.
In that sense,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's really what I had to take away from it, because I had been here before.
Yeah.
And I did not have a ring. I did not have a marriage license. And I'm like, I just can't do this. Like, I'm getting too old for this, and I really need this to stop.
Yeah,
so
we're both in our 30s.
Yeah, we're both in our 30s. But how did I know that he was ready for marriage? I think how I knew he was ready for marriage was more with my sister. Because my sister knew him more than I knew him. She knew him from high school. They went to prom. They double dated for prom. Her boyfriend that she really liked was his first cousin, and it was his favorite cousin. So she had more interaction, and my sister she just knows people. And so she was just like, I'm like, what are you thinking? She was like, you got to make sure that the whole divorce thing is good. Don't mess with that. And so I was looking at that, making sure that he was, good with all of that. And I think because he had a son, I had to be okay with that. I had to know that it wasn't just him. It was him and his son. Yeah, even though his son was not with him, I knew that it was something that the Lord was going to do for him. The Lord was going to allow his son to live with him. And so it's really funny. Josiah is 23 now, and 24, sorry, all of our anniversaries, he was like, hey, so it's our anniversary because you married me too. And it's true. And so for me, it was embracing the fact that here I am, an unmarried woman, never been married before, has no children. Am I going to be able to love this child as if it was my own? And I did, because I was raised in a blended family. So I would tell my husband, I know Josiah because I was Josiah.
And you know what's so funny is that I know that to be true, what you guys are saying, because as we were preparing for tonight, I actually heard Josiah actually tell someone, like, man, it's his anniversary. Exactly. So I'm like, oh my God.
he legit's like, no, it's our anniversary.
Right. He's like, don't leave me out.
Yeah. Oh, he thought he was going on our honeymoon. He was like,
both on the altar. Yeah. She married both of us. Right. I'm like, kind of, but yes. But I do think that in that same space, I mean, I knew that it was the way she made me feel, the man that I wanted to be when I was with her, how she saw me, how her lens is, what she said about me, what she thought about me. As much as my resume was legit and I was everything on paper, I wasn't everything that I was supposed to become yet. But she could see it in a complete form, not in a sense of being attracted to potential, but also seeing the potential, but also good with who I was. But she just made me want to live up to her idea of me. And her idea of me was as I saw myself. And so I just didn't want to let that go. I didn't want nobody else to have that kind of nurturing relationship. So she had to go break up with the dude she was with. I was like, kick him to the side, tell him you ain't interested no more, and come on this way. It's just like, what it is. I mean, she got took. And it's what he's still looking for her right now. He watching this live right now going, oh, there she go.
Oh my God.
20 years later.
Hey, well, my boy, it's a wrap.
20 years later, my guy.
20 years later, it's a wrap.
She don't want you, okay?
She got him 2 decades locked down.
But it was like that. I mean, sincerely, she wasn't overly committed. She did go, to break up with him, and we just really had a bond. That's what it was. I mean, I didn't want to be without her. It's the way she made me feel. I know if I ever get lost in the path, I could look in her eyes and remember, who I am and what I'm supposed to do. This man
still spitting game. Yeah. Y'all hear this? Listen, you 20 years in, man. You still spitting game.
You gotta stay there, okay?
Man, I mean,
I think, but
let me put that down. Write that one down.
Because that's my truth, though. You know what I'm saying? It is my truth that I live every day for the 20 years. You know what I'm saying? In our hard times, in our difficult times, in the up times, in the confusing moments, she's so nurturing as a teacher by calling and by career. She's so nurturing and has that ability to help you to believe about yourself. So, and I'm not one that has low self-esteem or needs to be pumped up, but that reassurance and that friendship is solid. That's how I knew for sure.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So, like, at the altar, right? Y'all finally get here to this point. Y'all dated, the love is there. You say, I can't live without you. You push Buddy out the way, all of that stuff. Yeah. You step right in. You the knight in shining armor. She reads her resume. Right. Her granddad is like, man, this the guy right here.
He was happy.
Now, y'all finally at the altar.
Yeah.
And so what was like some of the dreams that were at the altar that you guys had?
Dreams at the altar. I would have to say, because when you go to the altar is a place where you die. Mm-hmm. And the altar is a place where something most of the time relives, right? And so for me, my altar actually was my altar of dying to my singleness. And I remember one time coming to his apartment, and he's like, "Why are you so sad?" And I was like, "I don't know. I feel really, really sad today. I have no idea what is going on." And then just kind of talking to him, because he kind of pulls things out of you, and just talking to him, I said, "I think I'm dying, and I'm sad about I'm not going to be single anymore." And I don't know. I don't know. I said, and I don't want you to think I'm getting cold feet. I just never been here. I've never been to this place where I am no longer going to get in my bed by myself. I'm no longer going to be able to, I'm no longer going to be able to make decisions without thinking about anybody else. I'm no longer going to be able to, make a meal and it's just for me. Even though those were things that in those moments and in those times I no longer wanted to do, but the reality of that actually happening was making me die to my singleness.
And that's interesting to hear that from a woman, you know what I mean? Because most times it's like, it's the men. Am I right, fellas? It's like, we're like the ones that's like, I mean, we ready to give all of this up? You know what I mean?
Right. And I think it's because when you really realize that marriage is a very selfless place, when you understand that, and then you can be 20 years in. Because you realize that I am no longer thinking for a single mind. Like there is no moment really in my space or time that I am only thinking about myself. I'm thinking about my husband, but then when I had to think about my husband, I had to think about him and Josiah. Then when I had my daughter, then I got to think about it. So then the layers just kind of keep going on. And as a woman, you have this invisible labor that is always with you on this side of marriage, if you're in a good marriage.
And then another thing is that both of you all mentioned that you guys were in your 30s.
Yeah.
And I was like, so when I got married also, and I'm just, because I'm hearing the story, I'm like, man, I can correlate with it as well, because being in your 30s, being married, being established already, it's different than being married in your 20s with nothing. You guys are coming together with just a studio apartment and your clothes from your mama and your daddy house, and you growing together to becoming who you are. You know, but now you guys are both individually at a point established. So, how
Well, we thought we were.
We thought we were.
I mean, when we look back on our life now, we thought we were established, but we
were not.
We were not. Exactly. We definitely, in 20 years, have accomplished way more together than we ever had accomplished apart. Even though at that point we thought we were good, you know what I'm saying? As in the space we were. Were you trying to finish that?
Just really quick. So I think the dreams that I had at the altar was just really I wanted to do ministry. And I wanted to be with someone who understood that and someone who wasn't trying to take that away from me, because it took me so long to say yes. And I did not want to be on the other side of no, because I felt those consequences. So I needed someone who would polish that, who would take me beyond where I was. And, that's what I knew I had standing with me at the altar. So it was like dying to myself, but also walking away, resurrecting this newness that I think that I had always desired within the rest that God had for me. And the only way I think that was really going to happen is with a husband.
I think that for me at the altar, we had these serious conversations before, because before people have their ideas about who you are and who they think you're supposed to be and what they think you're supposed to do, I really, as a husband, wanted to protect the version of her that she saw herself. So I asked, like, how do you see yourself functioning in your career? What kind of wife do you want to be? What type of mother do you want to be? Do you want to work? How long you want to work? You want to stay at home? You want to raise our children? Do you want to do ministry? What does that look like? So we had these really in-depth conversations about, because she's in her 30s, how her ideal self, so I could translate that and be responsible for protecting that and delivering on that side. On the same note, she asks the same questions, or you often hear her tell the story how she was looking over my shoulder, looking at my goals written down, and could see herself in my goals. So she was like, if I submit to this, I don't lose myself in this idea. And so all of these things were crafted before we got to the altar, so we were super protective of the idea of the future that we have for ourselves, and glad that we were, because at our wedding, little did we know, when Bishop Abney pronounced us husband and wife, he also at that moment pronounced us the next pastors of the church that he was pastoring.
Wow.
And you may kiss the bride. It was like, huh?
Wow. That was like a mantle came over you.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
that.
At one time. So he's like, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to pronounce it. He actually said it before he said Mr. and Mrs. Glenn.
He did.
I'd like to pronounce to you the next pastors of Mr. and Mrs. Glenn. We like, what? So we kind of like kissing, like, what did he just say? You know what I'm
Now
saying?
we got to step into two roles.
Exactly.
At the
So
same
now you
time.
got all of
Same
these
time.
expectations of other people. We're in this bubble under the huppa, and we're standing there, but it was very sacred, and it was very she and I, and we were very sacred in that moment. Like, even though the whole world, we felt like the whole world was watching it, it just felt like it was us. And we promised in that space that if we're going to live in
Always.
public with all these people watching us all the time, we'll always protect the idea of us and never let anybody control that idea of us with their expectations or their wants or their needs or their desires. We're here to serve. That is what our family does. That's who we are. But we'll protect the version of us that we see. And that's what we've been able to do over the years.
Wow. So what advice could you give to your newlywed selves?
Our newlywed. Oh,
20 years ago.
All right, 20 years ago. Like, if you could step back, knowing what you know now.
It's going to be all right.
You know, 20 years
You're going
ago.
to make it through. You're not
Right,
gonna,
right. With the storms that came, you know,
Yeah.
you can say, 20 years ago, like, if you knew everything that you went through now.
I would definitely say to always be friends and to always know to always know that your relationship is not what it is right now. That you have to keep your hands on it, but you have to hold it, you know, with open hands, because you got to give it room to breathe and grow, because I am not the same woman I was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And for him to think that would be very foolish on his part, and for me the same, to think he's the same man. So you have to leave room for your relationship to grow, but you do have to keep your hands on your relationship, and you have to be friends.
Yeah.
You don't let a friend be more of a friend than the person that you're sleeping with.
Yeah.
Because to me that causes an idea to come into your bedroom that has nothing to do with your relationship, a conversation that has nothing to do with your relationship. So this relationship is very sacred, and you know, it's interesting, people outside who know me or who have dated me, they ain't really talked to me in 20 years. And they was like, one person said she took them vows for real. And I'm very cool with that, because I knew that in order for this to work, I could not let the outside dictate what happens.
Come on here. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I would tell my newlywed self, you know, that this is an evolution. It's a journey. Enjoy it. The different versions of your relationship, the ebbs and flow, go with it. It's going to be all right. You're going to get through it. You know, God's going to exceed your expectations and go beyond your imagination. But always keep your marriage first, and keep your family first. I mean, we fight through that and fight for that, and that has been a cornerstone of our relationship. Like, sincerely, no matter what we do for everybody, it's always been family first. It's always been relationship first. We always, you know, get to spend a lot of time together, traveling together, being together, making memories together. It's very intentional.
So all the Instagram posts and all of
It's
that
real.
stuff is real.
It's real.
Yeah, we put not only the fun stuff. I mean, we put all the stuff when it's happening in real time. But no, we don't. We watched this person back in the day who used to be a TV evangelist, and something happened where his camera was left on, like he was acting one way, and then his camera was left on. It was horrible. We was like, man, we never want to be fake people. We want to be who we are, our authentic self. So that's what we always try to do, to be our authentic self. So shout out to all the people that's been married for a long time, all the people that just got married, all the people that's thinking about getting married. Marriage is a beautiful thing. It's a great institution. We got people in the room that's been with us from day one. Jeremiah and Sonia, they've been here with us since they was in our wedding. Actually, from the very beginning, they stayed up there.
Our first
that was our first
date.
double date.
And we
yes.
was like, oh God.
Oh my God.
Because they was authentically themselves. We came to Chicago.
Yes,
we drove
we
to
came to
Chicago.
IKEA.
And they was like, they're authentic self. We've been hanging out with them ever since then. But it's just been great to be around other people. Stay around married people.
Exactly.
Get around married people. It's good for your marriage and good for
Are
your
you guys
relationship.
enjoying this right here, y'all? Come on, just put your Man, this is amazing. So now, you guys talked about, what 20 years look like and some of the things that you guys had to go through, the altar and all of that stuff. I want to get to this next part, fighting for faith and friendship and the friendship.
Yeah.
And, just basically like the toughest seasons you had to overcome, between you guys. What were some of those tough seasons? I mean, like now we starting to get into like real, not the little cute stuff, not the I'm in my dress, I'm looking cute, I'm about to marry the man of my dreams, my granddaddy said yes.
Before we get into the toughest seasons that we had to endure from external forces, I would have to say the toughest season we went through internally was probably because we're firstborns and we're both the oldest grandchildren, and so that independence and that that willingness to be interdependent and surrender to each other in the process. I think that was early on probably one of the toughest seasons that we would have. My wife was very strong. I admire her strength, attracted to her strength.
I got one of them at home too, Doc.
Yeah, I was attracted to her strength, admire her strength, but I didn't want her to use her strength against me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, put that up, So being married to, firstborn, oldest grandchild, who's who of America's teachers, Miss BCC, what is it?
Bethune-Cookman College.
But what
Queen.
is the BC?
Miss BCC.
There we go. Now, don't be looking at me like that.
Look, she's still tough.
Exactly. You see how she's turned this
Real
swag on?
quick. 0 to 100.
In Ebony magazine, just my wife has so many
You
accomplishments.
better read that resume on.
Because just because she rocked by my side, I don't want nobody to get it twisted that she's not strong. She's a bad girl all by herself.
I love that. Come on. That's
And
what
so
I'm
she
talking
had
about.
already,
Give it up. Give it up.
she had already traveled all over the world, wasn't waiting for no trips, wasn't waiting for no ring. She had already, not in a crazy kind of way, but bought herself a ring for her right hand. That was already a carrot, because she just wanted to make sure she was getting married, not for the ring. And so she had all these standards that she had already brought to the table, which I admired and I loved in our friendship. But in trying to get her to put her guards down, she had been so used to fighting so long. I didn't want to feel like I was fighting to love her. Even before we got married, as a deal breaker moment in my mind, as I'm already talked to her grandfather, already talked to her father, already talked to her mother, already had the ring in my pocket. And I was just trying to decide. There would be moments where she would just put up this guard, and I would have to ask her, I say, I really need you to show me the real version of you, because if this is the version of you that you really are, I want you to be your authentic self, but I don't want to move forward because I can't spend the rest of my life trying to fight to prove my love. You know what I'm saying? And if there's this nurturing side of you that's very soft, very gentle, very cultivating. If that's the real you, then I need you to, whichever one is you. And she was like, no, this is the real me. It's just when I'm not sure what it is, then this is how I act and how I behave. And so I was trying to ease that. And so even into our marriage, I would run up against these moments of this real strong version of her. And it would be frustrating trying to communicate that. So we spent a lot of time just talking about easing into that and having grace and allowing, what I was, do you think I have your best interest
at heart?
Do you think I have your best interest at heart? And she would say, yes, I do. And so if you do, then I'm not trying to take anything from you. I'm trying to add something to you. I think that was a strong learning curve early on.
Can I ask this? Who was the one that initiated really like the conversation of like, let's put some grace on this type of, when it got kind of tough?
Me?
It would be him, yeah. Because I am not a confrontational person. Now, if I'm in it, then I'm gonna go. But I'm not about to probably bring something to you, especially if I know you. Now, if you just a regular person, just a random person, I'm gonna give you something. But if you're a person that I have a relationship with, I'm not a confrontational person. So yeah, it's always him.
Yeah, I initiated it with no problem. I'm going to be a communicator. I'm going to ask. I'm not going to play it in my head. And so we would have some tough conversations, some long night conversations. My wife would cry on cue, and just start crying. And just
It was not on cue.
So that you could just get
Go
soft.
ahead. Go ahead.
Tell your version.
It's not, but it wouldn't be on cue. We already talked about that.
No, not to them. You think you haven't talked about it to these people. Go ahead, talk about it.
It wasn't crying on cue, but what I learned because I was the oldest and nobody told me anything. Nobody told me anything. Like I'm gonna say I am the golden child, and I just try to make sure I do everything right. I'm not perfect, but so to be in a relationship with a person who is like, and I'm just like, what the heck? Can we just not? And he would be bringing stuff to me that was legit.
But can I ask this question? Was it because, I'm only asking because this is was it because you were married already and she wasn't, so it was like you had already had this perception of what?
No, I healed and I didn't bring baggage to the
Right.
relationship.
But
I
not that-
healed and I learned.
But you had the more experiences.
But he did not. He did not have the most experience in relationship.
I didn't have more experience because she had more relationships than
I was
had.
right.
And
He was
had
been
been
married
in relationships
exactly
longer than I.
Because what you was married 3 years, 2 years.
She had been in relationships way longer.
I was in a relationship for 7 years.
way longer than me. So when it comes to experience, it wasn't about experience, but her junk didn't work. Okay? But really we managed to both, I think to be honest and transparent, we were grown.
Right.
So we managed to both bring those relationships in our relationship. Right. Hear me now. Because most people don't be bringing other relationships. We is grown. You've been in love before. This ain't your first rodeo. Don't try to act like you ain't learned nothing from the other situations.
And you forgot.
You learned something. So we would bring them into our relationship so we could talk candidly, openly, honestly, transparently about what we learned from them. And then we also shut that out and just looked in each other's face and was like, but this is what we doing right here and what we're trying to do. So I think that she just, like she said, if you're in a seat where nobody ever challenged you or told you anything to do, and then you get in a position or a situation where that's my role as a husband is to lean into the conversation, not from a sense of criticism, but a sense of cultivation. But that's going to bring out, testing points. Then we would have some deep conversations that literally led into long nights of just truth. And my wife would start crying and, no, just keep going and just finish your story because I don't want to tell your version.
It was just because it was hard to hear about myself, and I had never had anybody talk to me about myself like that. And it was hard. And so, yes, you pushed the point and I started crying. And then it was like the second hard conversation we had, I was with myself, and he just would start shutting down because he doesn't want to hurt me. He's not trying to hurt me. And I just had to, after we finished our conversation, I just had, I was like, Lord, I'm trying. This is just the worst thing. I'm just crying out to the Lord. He was like, yep, and stop manipulating the conversation, but with your tears. Stop it.
So how did you guys overcome these tough moments, like some of your?
It's building the muscle to be greater.
Yeah.
And when you're building the muscle to be greater, that means that you can't relieve yourself by walking away because it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Because everything that doesn't feel good doesn't mean it's not good for you. This is not an abuser. He has never abused me. He has never talked to me crazy. He has never done anything to show me that he's going to abuse me. So why is his words making me feel a certain kind of way and making me turn up or have an attitude or cry or whatever? Why is it doing that? Because it's working on something that should no longer be in my life. Because it's not coming from a place. It's not coming from a place of dirt. It's coming from a place of cleansing and renewing. And I would feel, I'm like, well, Jesus, I'm the only person that's trying to be, sharpened in this relationship. It's always about me.
But I had to show her, I said, even though you might not be pointing things out about me, I don't want to keep doing this. This is sharpening me, because this is my responsibility, because I don't want to keep having this conversation. I just rather lower my standards, shift my expectations, say never mind, be good with it. I'd rather self-medicate inside myself and stop being upset about it and quit pointing it out and just say, no, I'm good, and just change my expectations. And my wife would challenge me and say, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, but every time I get ready to talk to you, it's crying. It's a hard conversation. I don't want to keep having these hard conversations. She's like, well, if you don't have it, who's going to have it? I said, so I'm supposed to just wake up every single day and just believe this just might be the day? She's like, that's right. This just might be your day. You wake up every day and say, oh, this your birthday. This might be the day you get all your dreams. And every day I just had to, love is a choice that you make every day. It's not one choice that you make forever. You make this choice every day. And so I feel like that I learned how to keep through the intensity of continue and consistency, loving. This version of ourselves that we have 20 years later is a version of ourselves that we built over time. We kept talking. You say, how do we do it? We kept talking. Mm-hmm. If you talk about little things, then when you have to talk about the big things, you built the muscle to talk about big things. If you ignore the little things, then you got to talk about the big things. Then you only talk when you got to talk about the big things. Then the moment you say, I need to talk to you, the other person say, oh, you know what you got to talk about, because we don't ever talk. So if you're talking about something, it gotta be big. But if you talk about the little things, you build the muscle. So you know how to talk, you know what to say, you know when to say it, you know when it's right for us and when it's just right for me. And I know if it's just right for me, that's selfish, because I can't just talk because I got to get something off my chest. I got to figure out when is it the right time for us to talk. And so you learn over time, and then it becomes easier. You don't let it build up because you're always working and building that
Pastor,
muscle.
hold on, stop, because you about to get me in trouble at home, because my wife is probably watching right now, rocking our son right now, and saying, this is what I've been trying to tell you the whole time. Communication.
Yeah, money, sex, and communication is a big three that get you to succeed or struggle in a marriage. Yeah. Communication has never been my issue, but we learned how to not make it our issue, because communication is constant and it's ongoing, and it's words and it's affirmation and it's love. And that's how we learned. Once we learned that early on, then when the outside trials kicked in and the other stuff we had to go through, we had already built the muscle in our relationship, and we built the trust, and we knew how to look at each other and know what that meant, and we know how to say something, we know what that meant, and we could say anything to each other faster because it was no ill intent and never any disrespect. So I'm glad we pushed that muscle early on, because
it was early.
Yeah, because later on, like real early in our marriage, we got challenged from the outside.
What, like 3 months?
No, it wasn't 3 months. It was like a year. It felt like 3 months, but it was like a year. Everything
it was not a year.
It was a year.
Monet wasn't here?
Yeah, she was 2 years later.
Oh.
I know it was traumatic.
It was.
But it was traumatic because our family dynamic shifted, and our family pressure from the outside in started to deteriorate and worked against our marriage. And we had to very early on choose us. And when it first happened, I was nervous because I was like, it's only been like a year. She gonna choose her family. She about to leave me. And but she really had no effort or no thought to ever leave me. Actually, her grandmother called to affirm and say, no matter what you do, you make sure you stay with your husband. And we had to really fight for it. We had to really try. We had to really push through and shut out the outside noise and work for what we believed our relationship was. And that's really the essence of like how we got through it. We was able to lean in. Yeah. You want to talk about that, son?
I mean, I was waiting for him to see if he had something else.
Well, I was actually going to...
Don't do that.
Okay.
You're not directing that.
Okay.
So, no, go ahead. Finish what you were going to say.
No, I mean, I think what you said about our conversation and just really understanding that I really want to go back to the little things, that dealing with the little things make it so much easier. And I think that when you're in a hard or a tough space, the natural thing to do is to not think about it or hope that it's going to go away, and it's not. This is your relationship. This is the closest person to you. It's not going anywhere. It's just going to start getting bigger and bigger, and you don't know the growth because you're not paying attention to the growth of it. So the quicker that you bring it between the two of you, the quicker it is to deal with. And then when you walk away from, you're like, oh, dang, it was hard, but it wasn't that hard. So that means I can talk about this, and then I can talk about that. And then there no longer becomes this empath of things that happen when your partner is not with you. This becomes a safe place because we have had built the muscle to communicate. And I think when you're in the relationship and there's one person that is not good, in a sense, communicating, or may not do it very well, or may not be able to process things as quick as you are, there's a grace that you have to give them, but also you need to ask, why are you not communicating? What is it that has happened in your life that doesn't allow you to communicate? Why do you feel that that's something that you can't bring to me or say to me? And I had to be very honest with my husband. I'm like, it really probably doesn't have anything to do with you. It has everything to do with how I was handled, how I was raised, what I had to do. And I had to give him that background information so that he would not give me the pass to not communicate. Yep. He did not give me the pass. I needed him to get the background in a non-confrontational moment, not in the heat of the moment. But I needed to explain to him why I was not communicating, because he was not there when I was 5 or 10 or 15 or in that battle. He wasn't there. So I had to bring him up to speed so he can understand that the woman that I am right now has been processed over years. And I would tell him that. I'm like, that's true. If you don't say it, who gonna say it? Because I'm like, dude, you just met me in a sense. This is not gonna go away, okay? This is 30 years of being this way. And your one little year, that is not about to change. And you need to have that same expectation with the grace to know that it will one day be what you expect it to be, but it's not right now. And you can't step off with your pressure, and you can't step off with your expectations, and you can't step off because it's easier to lower your expectations than it is than it is for you to have a high expectation and to have enough faith to believe it's going to actually come to pass.
Yeah. It was in that process that, I learned how to love and how to lead, right? Because she wouldn't let me off the hook for it. And I needed to be consistent and make a choice and a decision to learn. I'm glad that we talked through it and that we were persistent and we did catch a rhythm, and that wasn't the issue anymore, because shortly after that, externally, our family dynamic shifted. Just to be quick in it, the man that affirmed me, the man that said I was the best thing that, he could ever imagine for his granddaughter, all of a sudden, my boss, my leader, ended up being the person that fired me in the moment that was totally unexpected. And I had to go home and tell my wife, your grandfather fired me. And she was like, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? And it just threw our whole family and our whole city and our whole context in an uproar. And in the process of that, we had to really learn to lean into each other and try to figure out how we was going to move forward and what moving forward looked like.
And that's crazy, because the next question is pertaining to that.
Yeah.
So,
what?
The next question is, how was your role for faith? It's like your grandfather marries you guys. You step into this pastor role. You're a youth pastor. So how do you operate in that? With the role of faith and fighting for your marriage at the same time.
I am a firm believer. I do not know how people are living without God, and for sure married without God. I don't even understand it. I can't even comprehend it. Being in it, I just be like, oh, this is why people get divorced. Oh, this is why somebody try to do something to say. Oh, this is why they put all of this. I understood it. I had a sensitivity to it. So if it wasn't for my faith in God, I don't know if I would have lasted 20 years. It's the commitment to God. It's God telling me, I need you to do this for him. I need you to do this for your children. You might feel a certain kind of way, but this is what I need you to do. This is your assignment. This is what you wake up every single morning and you do before you do anything else. This is what you need to make sure that this is the main thing. So my faith in God, because I had a relationship with him, it's the only thing that I was able to take from my single life to my married life, is my relationship with him. That was the only thing that was consistent, because friends are come and go and they're different and your dynamic changes, but God remains the same. And the closer you are to God, the closer you will always be to each other. And if you ever feel like you are in a place where you're not close to each other, you need to check your relationship with God, because God will lead and guide you in your marriage in a place where no book, no mentor, no nothing will. He will tell you stuff about your mate that your mate will be surprised. How you know that? Well, you know, my husband like, you always gonna be churchy. Sure am, because it's the only relationship that I got that I know for sure. And God will lead and guide you. So it's my faith in God that has helped me to stay married, to understand what all of that is.
I think that as we get ready to go to the next song, before we go to the next segment, when I think about faith in God, I think faith in God helps you to keep trying.
Yeah.
Right? So
good.
So it's stuff that's happening and people give up too fast. They give up, oh, I'm gonna get out of this relationship because this didn't work, and I'm gonna go to the next one. And they underestimate the work that the next one takes. Right? And all the work that you just put in this one, you would have to put in the next one and have to put in the next one. And so when people keep on stop starting, and not committed to, we gonna make this one work. So we had conflict, we had challenges, we had indifferences, we had external forces, but we never stopped trying. We never stopped going after that version of ourselves that we dreamed about. We never stopped going after that generational curse that we was trying to break. We never stopped pushing past the dysfunction that we grew up in, because we made a decision that no matter what, we were gonna try and try again, because that's all faith is. And there's so many people that should have never quit trying, but they stopped trying. And the moment you stop trying, then the relationship is dead. Long as you keep trying, long as I can look in her eyes and know she want to try, and she know I want to try, and we know that we don't want to give up, and we won't give up, and this is worth working for, and our children is worth working for, and our faith is worth working for, and the example that we're setting is worth working for, and the history and the legacy we're trying to build is worth working for, then you figure out the rest of it. Everything else can be figured out if you use faith to keep trying. We'll let Denzel talk about it.
It's good, guys.
Go ahead,
Come
Denzel.
on, put your hands
Take us to the
together.
song. Listen to these words on this song Denzel wrote.
Nah. All we have to do is try. When the going gets tough and you don't know what to do next, you just try again. You try again when the going gets hard and you feel like you wanna give up. Just try, oh try, oh try again. Don't you throw in the towel. Oh, hold me. We were building something so beautiful that you couldn't find anywhere for sale. That's not who we were. That's not who we are. How to do? So we keep on going, keep on building. Oh, don't like some valuable resources. Oh, like patience, like compromise. All we have to do is try. This is what I told her. Put your pedal to the metal and try. Yeah. Oh, try. But I have to ask, am I not worth it? Just snap your fingers right here. Oh, second question, are we worth it? Oh, is it worth it trying to work it? Oh, work it out. Oh, work it out, baby. Hey, should we even try to work it out? Oh, work it out, baby. Oh, work it out. Work it out, baby. All we have to do is try. Oh no, try, baby, baby. Snap with me. I promise you won't regret it. They say the best things come when you do take chances. I promise you won't regret it, baby, baby. They say the best thing come when you take chances. When the going gets tough and you don't know what to do, you just try to try. Oh, don't you throw in that towel, babe.
Yeah,
just try, y'all.
Yeah. That's his original song.
Man,
everybody needs to go download that and play that over again. But when he let me hear the song for the first time, me and my wife was in this conversation talking about how people could just get a different outcome if they just kept trying. And sometimes people give up or underestimate the power of trying, right? Because that's faith, right? Faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So can you keep trying to work towards that original idea, even when you perhaps don't see any evidence of growth or any evidence of change? Because what might just be the morning or the day that you wake up and you get the version of it that you always prayed for.
Question though, even with that, and I know this is not a part of it, but just want to ask this question because of that song, trying. What if you somebody married the wrong person and they keep trying? It's like they're not changing,
So what is married the wrong person though?
Yeah.
Let's say
because we hear that all the time.
We do.
How do you know? How do you know if you married the wrong person?
So let's say, for instance, if someone, how we grew up in church being unequally yoked,
right?
I like to use the thing where it says what the Bible says with unbelievers,
right?
So if they still believe that Jesus is Lord, then they're still a believer,
right?
But even if you can be a believer and be unequally yoked, right? So for me, when people say, "Well, I think I may have married the wrong person," my question is, do they want to be married to you? Yes. Do you want to be married to them? Yes. Then how do you know you married the wrong person?
What if
because when you marry, I think the issue is people marry each other before they marry marriage. right? So God has an idea about marriage that's higher than who gets married. It's like God's idea about marriage applied to the human experience. And what we keep trying to do is we keep trying to take our idea of marriage and apply it to each other. Instead, God is like, why don't y'all quit doing that and take my idea of marriage, apply it to the human experience. Take two people that love each other and don't even make love the greatest factor. Just make willingness to obey my idea the greatest factor. As you come into the understanding of what that is, to learn and to submit and to grow and to challenge and to change and evolve and apply love. But love isn't the most important factor, because the Bible say love your enemies. That don't mean you should marry them. Right. Say love for people that use you and despitefully use you. That don't mean you should marry them. But I think we get too convoluted in placing our idea about marriage on people instead of God's idea about marriage on people. So we're hurting each other because we're practicing our version or our experiences of marriage that we grew up in, that we saw, maybe good, maybe bad, maybe indifferent. And instead of submitting to God's greater idea of it, and there's not enough people in love with God's version of marriage, they're more in love with each other and their version of marriage. And that's why they're getting the version of marriage that they got. Now, I don't say that by saying that there's perhaps we married the wrong person, but for me, the wrong person is an unwilling person. Right. There is no wrong person except for an unwilling person. I don't believe in just one soulmate. There's all kinds of people that you could have married. Right. Bunch of potential people. There's a type that's a potential type of person that you can marry and you choose to marry. But even if you choose them, you still have to apply the rules of engagement, which aren't the rules you get to create. The world we live in right now, the problem is we keep trying to create our version of God's idea. It's not your idea. It's his idea. Yeah. He established it. He created it. Learn it, love it, grow in it, then find somebody to practice it on. Exactly. And if you put God's idea of marriage on any person, they'll be the right person. Mm-hmm. Woo! But there's too many people putting their idea of marriage on each other and then mad because it's not developing what it needs to be. We came to the table and said, you didn't see it right, I didn't see it right. We got one good picture that was 43 years, and that's their version. That's a good idea. That's a model. We got another mentor over here that's 30. That's a good model. But at the end of the day, what I need to practice on you is God's idea. What does he say? Let me practice that on you. And you practice that on me. And by the time I finish loving you with his idea,
Now you guys.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And there's too many people trying to get out, and they don't want to try. They're trying to get out of the relationship by saying, I married the wrong person. No, you didn't fall in love with God's idea of marriage, and you didn't practice that on the person that you married.
But you made
That's why God said, whatever God
joins together.
He's not saying he joined together because he chose it. He's saying whoever applies my way to their relationship, it's unbreakable.
And you made a key point there. You said they have to be willing.
Yes.
Yep.
Two willing people, not one person being willing, the other person not.
No.
If somebody come to me and say, dude, we think about getting a divorce, should we get a divorce? I ask, is one of y'all don't want to be married no more? Is one of you unwilling to follow through? Because you can't be married to yourself.
Exactly.
Right? Because God's idea, it takes two.
Right.
So if both of you, especially believers, both of you are believers. Both of you believe God. Both of you believe the word of God. Both of you want marriage or want your marriage. Because there's a lot of people say they don't think it'll work and then go get married. Yeah. Well, if this marriage didn't work, how you just go get married? Because this marriage works because I always wanted to be married. Just because my first marriage didn't work don't mean I didn't want to be married. I wanted to be married. I just wanted somebody to be married with me.
Got it. Awesome. Come on, put up. All right. So now as we transition into this next part.
Good question, Danny.
Very good question.
Yeah, I had to ask that question. Yeah. I had to ask that one, You
want to say something?
I just want to say this just really quick. And I think, when people say, I married the wrong person and all of that my husband said, I think because sometimes people get married with an expiration date. You got 2 years to get this together. Yep. You got 2 years to make sure that you're the husband or the wife that I need you to be.
I thought we had clock.
I thought we had forever.
To death do us part.
I thought I had to die in order for this to be over. And so I think when you live in your own head of I'm not gonna be like my friend and be in a loveless marriage for so many years. When you live with those declarations that you make to yourself, you don't give your marriage room to
right,
grow.
right.
You don't give your marriage room to be what it needs to be. You don't give your spouse the opportunity to cultivate you. You don't cultivate each other because we got 2 years in your head. And if it don't happen in 2 years, then it's not gonna work. So I think when you take your vows seriously and know that you have until death do you part, then you know that, so I made this decision and I gotta be in it and work it. Yes. Marriage is not a blink in your eye and it's magically gonna happen. That's Lucky Charms. It's not gonna magically happen.
Right.
There's work that has to be done and there's intentionality that has to be done. And the love and the memories and the relationships and the things that you build together is things that you don't even know right now.
Yeah.
But you have to give it an opportunity to be the garden that you need it to
Yeah,
be.
it doesn't have to be bad marriages. It's just, there's not bad marriages. There's just bad ingredients in the marriage. You know what I'm saying? The marriage is bad because of what you put in it and what you keep trying to take out of it that you didn't put in it.
So how do
and
you-
it's unhealed people.
Right.
It's unhealed people that got married that aren't trying to heal each other. You come to your marriage as healed as possible, but then you finish your marriage healing the other person with your love as most as you can. You're like you might be unhealed, but by the time I'm through with you, you're gonna be better. You know what I'm saying? Not worse. And so how do you have a bad marriage? You hungry? I wanna feed you. You need conversation? I wanna talk to you. You wanna have sex? I wanna have sex with you. You wanna go out? I wanna go out with you. You wanna learn? You wanna grow? I wanna do it. If I wanna meet and exceed your expectations, how do we have a bad marriage if I'm just trying to do everything that God want me to do for you as an expression of his love? It's just broken, unhealed, bitter people that get married and try to make that work under the regard of they're going to remain the same,
Right.
who they are single as they are going to be married, instead of saying, no, I got married to change. This was a caterpillar and now we're going to be a butterfly. We're not going to be who we were. We're going to be something else. We're Glen Nation. We're going to be whoever it is that we have become, two people to become one. And when people lean into God's idea and man, you realize you making memories with your person, I mean, that's all you want to do. You know, it's a great situation. So we just hope everybody keep trying. That's all.
I love it.
Don't
I
give
love
up.
it. All right, so now as we move into this next phase.
It's almost wrap it up time.
All right, almost wrap it up.
Man.
All right, so as we move into the next segment of the future and the legacy,
Yeah.
right? So tell us, what are some of the dreams that you guys are still building together?
Well, we're building, it was kind of placed on us, the mantle of family. And so I feel that we are continually to build that.
Yeah, we trying to
Hold on, wait, y'all building family. Y'all, it's some
No,
more
no,
coming?
okay.
absolutely. This shop is
okay,
closed
okay, I just-
down.
But we're building
Okay.
our family, though. I mean, I think this is such a big milestone for us. 20 years might,
Right.
for some people, is they 36, 40, 50. This was a big milestone for us because neither of our parents were married for 20 years.
Wow.
So this is a generational curse breaking
Come
moment
on.
for us.
Thank you,
This is not just why they making a big deal at 20 years? Don't you supposed to make a big deal at 25? It's your silver year and 50 is your 50. Yeah, but for us, we just got farther than our parents got, right? We just in this year, tomorrow is our official anniversary. We make it beyond the limits of our parents being married. Before they got married, they got divorced. We grew up in those homes, and so we just broke something generationally in the spirit. And so legacy is about building our family, modeling in front of our family that, helping them to want love, to want our children to understand the idea about marriage and want to be married because they saw it modeled, to let our children know, that you're not a forever boyfriend, and my daughter's not a forever girlfriend. Like you wife material, you husband material, and that's the only way you get into it because that's what we lived and that's what we taught, and then that's what we're trying to learn and grow. We're still learning, we're still growing, but that's our intent. We're building our family and building a legacy, and the mantle that she's talking about is because we have a responsibility to help other people do the same. So we all about marriage, we all about family. We want people to understand that. We want the healing in the homes, is potentially in in the Black and brown families is the most broken place, and it's also breaking up generational wealth, it's breaking up generational possibilities. Right. Man, in this economy, people hanging on there, living in one income households and not trying to bring their talents and their skills together. Like, we got to come together and work together to establish legacy so our children can have something better. So that's really big part of the dream.
Yeah, and also making sure that, you know, it's not just our legacy, I mean, not just our family that we're trying to build, but also like business and what are the endeavors that we're trying to look to move forward in. And I just believe that, you know, for our 20 years, we have always put before us a business, no matter, you know, if it failed, if it went great, but there was always a business that we had. We started a church we tried. There was a church, you know, we started a church and we had a restaurant and, you know, now we have a couple of businesses that we're working with, but that always keeps us cohesive. That keeps us quote unquote not fighting about stuff that don't matter, because it's like we got a business that we got to run, we got to make some money, so we got to be in harmony together. We can't be going out here looking crazy, so we got to make sure that this is the realness of the life that we want to put before others, but more importantly what we want our children to see. We want this is their version of what love looks like. And we want to make sure it's their first love story. And we want to make sure that we live a life that is pleasing to God, but also pleasing to our children. One of the first things, you know, when we were engaged, I was always trying to push my husband to hurry up and let's just get married. Like, let's just go over to the fireplace. You know, a whole bunch of pastors. Just tell them, come on over here and let's just, you know, I'm just saying, just let's go to the fireplace and just make it happen. And then I ain't got to go home no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get this together. And he looked at me and he said, but babe, what are we going to be able to tell the other children that we have? Right. What are we going to be able to tell Josiah? Right now, he's a little kid. But what are we going to, like, honestly, looking in his eyes, looking in our children's eyes, can we tell them the truth? You know, are we going to be able to tell them the truth, or are we going to make up a story?
Trying to sleep with me.
And so I listened.
She was ready, Doc.
I listened.
She did.
I listened.
Ready.
Some nights it was
Praise
me.
God.
Hello.
Some nights it was him.
She did.
Whatever. But anyway.
Sometimes it was me.
It was him.
It was mostly you.
Whatever.
Come on here.
And so the thing, I think, I'm trying to think, how old was Monet? 7, 8? Yeah. 7 or 8. She was in the 2nd grade. 7 or 8. And she she's with her cousins. And she said, Mommy and Daddy, you know, she's him. That's her, she's her father's child. And she said, Daddy, did you sleep with Mommy before you guys got married? And my husband looked at me, was like, nope. And he was like, and I told you, I was like. But in that moment, it was a conscious decision of what was our love story gonna be. Like, what were we gonna create? We have the opportunity to create something. What is it gonna be? Is it gonna be a place of lies and manipulation so that you can go outside and act like to the world that you're living something that you're not? Or are you gonna be authentic? And are you gonna build a legacy or build a love story that your children will be proud to tell their children? And so that was that if God don't keep you,
can't be kept.
You can't be kept, but something else can keep you too, which are the little eyes that's looking at you every single day. You know, when you have that family, your friends that are surrounding you, you know, don't be like, well, I don't want nobody around me because I don't want to have to attest to that. No, you do want people around you because you do want accountability. You don't want to be a liar in your house, and then you go out to the world and you playing something else. I'm so grateful I don't have to lie. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful I can sit on that front row and be like, yes, babe, you preach. That I don't have to lie and be like, you suck today. Like, I don't have to do that because our relationship has always been authentic.
Because you would say it.
I sure would. I would tell you, you was not led today, sir. Jesus was asking, how did he get disconnected? Okay. But I'm so grateful that there has never been a day of that. And I'm grateful that we have a relationship where we can be honest even with the quote unquote things that are difficult or ugly or not in a space that I don't want nobody to know that. Well, if this person that is the closest space to you doesn't know it or can't point it out, or you don't give them the place or permission to point it out, then where is it? Where is that? Where is that space? And if it's somewhere else, it's probably in a space that does not need to be, because that's a space of vulnerability and being naked. And you should not be naked or vulnerable with anybody but your spouse.
Praise God. All right, now we're trying to wrap it up. We're on the time constraint, all right? But couple of quick questions, okay? What's the legacy that you guys want to leave behind?
I think that we built our family. That's the most important one. That we left our family better than, in a better position. A good man leaves an inheritance. That's just not money for me. That's just that we love God, that we serve God, that we left an inheritance for them, so they didn't have to get it from the mud or start from scratch. They had a model and they had an example that they can build on top of for their own families and for their own future. And in the earth, I think that we help establish leadership and relationships. I mean, that's what our 30 years of ministry and our 20 years of marriage has been about, just building people. Dr. Miles would always say, if you want to build a legacy, you put it in people, not in places. Because when you put it in people, then people teach their children and their families. And so I love ministering to families, ministering to men. When you change a man's life, you change his generation. My wife loves talking to ladies, helping wives become wives, passing the information she learned from her own experiences or her grandparents. So I think we spend the rest of our life building people in building life, building leadership, building relationships. That's really, really what we want to spend the rest, and building our own family. So if we can empower people to be the best version of themselves, find the power couple in their relationships, that's what it's all about. That's the sacrifice we make. That's what we live. That's what our children know every time they see us leave, get on another plane, hit another route. This is your life. This has been your life. And this is the price that not only we pay, but the price they pay for us to be ourselves. So that's the mission. That's the vision.
For me, everything that he said, I echo. I want my legacy to also be making the people that sacrificed for me, for us, the people that let us sit at their kitchen tables and lean from them, that let us go on their vacation, that didn't mind us asking a whole lot of questions, didn't mind us being around their family, being with their family, all of the sacrifices that my mom made, his mother, his father, my father, like all of the things that they tried to do, that I pray that we make them proud, because they didn't work. It didn't work, but they tried to keep it together for us. And I just hope that the sacrifices that they made to, like, I may not have did it, but I believe you can do it, that they can really feel that sacrifice was felt, and that sacrifice was real. And then just the couples that have just, been in our lives and loved on us. So those have gone, have passed away, but just the sacrifices that they have made, that they are proud to know that we were good ground. So, yeah.
Next question. What's one key piece of wisdom that you want to leave to other couples?
One? I'm not there.
You don't want to do it?
I'm thinking in a minute.
I think that all the things that we said today, I feel like I don't know if it's one key piece. Take whatever you need. Take whatever you need and apply it to your life. I think every place and every couple is in a different space. Yeah. And I think you got to find what space you're in, be transparent and honest about being in that space, and then apply God's principles to your relationship, and it'll always work. I don't know. I mean, I think I try to always communicate to whoever I'm communicating to. So I don't know that I have one piece of advice that I haven't put in a book or on a podcast or in a sermon or in a conversation. Just take what you need and just do whatever it is that you need to apply to your marriage so that you can have a successful relationship.
I would say, if I had to, I'm gone. Oh, God. Oh, there we go. If I was to say one piece of advice, I would say that it is an affirmation of you can make it. Like, just knowing that no matter where you are, what you're facing, you can make it. You
That's
can
good.
get past this. This is a moment. This might be a season, but you can make it. You can stay married. You can love your spouse as long as in your head, you know, I can make it.
That's
I
good.
I got one last question.
Yeah.
All right, and this is it. All right, one last question. All right. I need to know a funny story from both of you guys, right? But Pastor Erica, like you watched him move from Afro to Black Jesus. You know what I mean? In 20 years, you see the transition from the baby fro, little dreads, to now Black Jesus with the gray beard. How, what's a funny story?
A funny story. I mean, there's a lot of stories. I would have to say, because I don't have a funny story about it. There's too many. But I would just say this. I get so much joy when I am not in the room with him and I hear him like gut busting, laughing so hard. And there are certain people that I know that are doing that for him, where he is so, because he like literally, yes, he looked like Jesus, but I promise to God, y'all, he is Jesus' little cousin for real.
Quit playing. Stop it.
Like anything that happened in your life, he's like, yep, and I got a scripture. I'll just be like, where did that come from?
Literally,
You know
this
what I'm saying?
song
Like
just happened
literally.
right now.
Like this is him all day. This is him meeting him at 19 years old and just his life just given to God. But I find so much joy when I know he's in a whole nother room and I can hear him cracking up, bust laughing. And there's only a few people that do that for him. And it just does my heart so good because he is very focused. He is very serious. It's not that he's like stuffy or whatever, but he's a very intentional person. Like that's not, what y'all just see on the stage. That's really how he lives his life. But I would have to say that, he probably has more funny stories because I just be messing up a lot.
No, I think that for me, for our 20th anniversary, my wife wanted this. She wanted me to have a vow renewal ceremony. And I was like, no. She's like, why not? I said, because I meant it the first time. And and I'm not trying to get any.
I'm using that one.
I'm not trying to.
Using that. Hey, no, you've been dropping so many gems tonight, man.
I'm serious.
Let me just break script for a moment.
I'm just-
Let me just break script for a moment. You've been dropping so many gems tonight. My wife texted me and was like, "You doing such a good job, babe. I'm taking all of this home."
I think I wasn't trying to get out of nothing because I'll spend whatever money I have on her. I'll take
Come
her
on.
anywhere she want to go. I'll do whatever she want to do. But I live every day to let her know that I meant it the first time. And I'm like, we don't need to do it over again. I said, so what else you want to do? She said, well, let's just have a marriage Monday, but let's have it live. I said, so you want to spend your anniversary evening inviting people to a room, talking about our journey, hoping to inspire their love so that their love feels better, whether single, whether married, they feel hopeful. That's what you want to spend the night. She said, yes. I said, I'll do whatever I can do to pull it together. I'll pull the relationships, text a few friends, a few people, ask them to step in and let's have a night. I said, but in terms of doing an anniversary ceremony, I said, I'd just rather live to make sure you know I meant it the first time.
Yeah.
Because for me, that for her, this is my girl.
Man.
For her, having a smile on her face, being satisfied, feeling loved, feeling affirmed, feeling like, she can do whatever it is that she feel like she needs to do. That's the best part of the relationship, and that's the best part of our marriage for me. So when she's good, we all good. Like the whole family good. Like
man.
if she not good, none of us are good.
I already know.
We be like, Johnny, Monet, Josiah, your mama ain't good, we ain't good.
Everybody
You
be
hear me?
like, bruh.
So we try to make sure the queen is good. You hear me?
Man.
'Cause if the queen is good, then the castle is good, and Glen Nation is good.
I love
So that's my funny story. Is I want to just keep her laughing and keep her smiling, and do the rest of my life with her. and make sure that I live my life that she knows that I meant it the first time. She the best part, y'all.
Did you guys enjoy that?
If you're sitting at home, you know, grab something to drink. Trust me, it's Martinelli. Believe me, all right? It's Martinelli. It might look like it's something else, but it really ain't nothing else but Martinelli. Just before we do this, we always used to say this. You know, shout out to Pastor Hannah because Pastor Hannah is how we started Marriage Monday.
Right.
He was like, y'all got something special on that marriage thing. Y'all anointed for that. Y'all gotta do that. And in the pandemic, he was like, I do Saturday night devotion. Y'all need to do, like, just sit down and talk about marriages. Just do it online. So he's like, for real? I was like, well, we do this thing called Marriage. That's it, Marriage Monday. Y'all should do that every single week. So in the pandemic, needing a haircut, stuck up in the house, just sat down in front of the camera, and on Mondays, we just start talking Marriage Monday. And Pastor Hannah was like, that's the mission, man. That's what y'all need to spend the rest of y'all life doing.
It's been a real blessing.
Yeah, and so shout out to Pastor Hannah for coming up with the idea. One of the things we used to do, though, we used to say the marriage confession. Y'all been asking for this. As we get ready to take this toast, this is for your marriage, both now or in the future. And just repeat it after us. We're going to celebrate the toast for the 20 years. Then Denzel going to sing us out. Y'all good with Denzel? I know you can't clap because you got some, but make some noise. Denzel! Maestro Sean over there rocking with him. Let's go, y'all. My marriage is blessed.
My marriage is blessed.
My spouse and I are led.
My spouse and I are led
by the Spirit of God.
By the Spirit of God.
When we pray together in unity.
When we pray together in unity.
Our prayers are powerful.
Our prayers are powerful.
And we get results.
And we get results.
We make every effort.
We make every effort.
To establish peace and harmony.
To establish peace and harmony.
In our home.
In our home.
Together we walk in agreement.
Together we walk in agreement.
And we are an unstoppable force.
And we are an unstoppable force.
And if we get angry.
And if we get angry.
We are quick to forgive.
We are quick to forgive.
So that we do not have strife.
So that we do not have strife.
In our relationship.
In our relationship.
We are not self-seeking.
We are not self-seeking.
Rude.
Rude.
Proud.
Proud.
Boastful.
Boastful.
Or jealous.
Or jealous.
Instead.
We
are loving.
We are loving.
Patient.
Patient.
And we put each other's needs.
And we put each other's needs.
Before our own.
Before our own.
We trust each other.
We trust each other.
We protect the sanctity of our marriage.
We protect the sanctity of our marriage.
What God has joined together.
What God has joined together.
As one.
As one.
We will not be separated.
We will not be separated.
I want to toast. Yeah. To 20 years of marriage.
20 years.
Love, life, and legacy. Let's go. Cheers. Hey. Go on, Denzel, sing us out, please. Martinelli.
You don't know, babe.
Yes, sir.
When you hold me.
You're here with your spouse.
Kiss me slowly.
It's all right to hold them close.
Oh, and it don't change. If I had it my way, baby.
Sing, Denzel.
You would know that you are. Oh,
thank you, Sean.
You're my comfort that I need in the morning.
Yes, sir.
You're the sunshine in the rain when it's pouring. While you give yourself to me, give it all. Oh, I just wanna see.
Everybody.
I just wanna see. Sing it out. Beautiful you. Yeah, you know that I see it. I know you're a star. Where you go, follow. No matter how far. If life is a move, then you're the best. Sing it out, y'all. You're the best part. You're the best part. Listen, is it that sunrise, baby?
Talk to us.
Or those brown eyes, yeah. rock and the dance today. You're the talent all I take with my hands, baby. Won't you give yourself to me, give it all. I just want to see how, give me a kick. Beautiful you are. You know that I see. I know you're a star. Oh, where you go, follow. No matter how far. If life is a movie, sing it out. Then you're this far. Hey. Oh, you're the best part. Hey. Oh,
It's the part right here.
you're the best part. Sing it out. Oh, yeah, you're the best part, baby. Oh,
If you love me, won't you say so? Come on.
you're the best part. If you love me, won't you say something?
Yes, sir.
If you love me, won't you know? If you love me, won't you say something, baby? If you love me, won't you? Oh, love me, won't you say something, baby? Say something to me, baby. Don't make me beg, baby. Tell me what I want to hear, baby. If you love me, won't you say something? Oh, won't you say something back? I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see. I know you're a star. Where you go, I follow.
This boy about to
No matter how far. If life is a movie, then you are the best part. One more
Yes,
time.
sir.
sing it again. Whoa. Yes.
You're the best part. You are the best part.
Give it up for Denzel, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard him first here. Denzel Lavelle, soon to be worldwide. Y'all heard him first
To
here.
me nice.
But everyone, give it up for the Glens, you guys. Come on, what a wonderful night. Happy anniversary to you guys.
Thank you so much.
20 years.
20 years.
Come on, give it up for them one more time. Did you guys enjoy yourselves on tonight? Very intimate. Come on, you all got to give them a standing ovation, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here and rocking with us tonight. Everybody watch this again. Share, share, share. We hope that something was heard and something that was learned that blessed your life from my life. Love y'all. Peace.
All right.